Right, straight into the next one. We have Max Tuesley, who's Managing Director of Culpeo Minerals. We're looking at the Lana Carina copper molybdenum project in Chile. Please welcome Max.
Thanks everyone for coming along. I'm Max Tuesley, a geologist by trade and working for Culpeo Minerals. We're focused on the coastal belt of Chile. We do like South America. We think it's a great place to be exploring for copper. On the cover slide there, you'll see a photograph of our Lana Carina project. You can see the outcropping mineralisation there is that little topographic high. We're in the coastal belt, as I mentioned, only about 800 metres above sea level. You can see the Andes in the background. Good infrastructure in the coastal belt, highway running past the project, and obviously, very easy place to explore for mineralisation as everything outcrops. I've spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia. It's quite a pleasure to work in Chile where you can actually see the rocks on the surface. Normal disclaimer. So just a snapshot of Culpeo Minerals. We've got a real nice portfolio of high-grade outcropping copper projects in Chile, obviously located in the world's #1 copper producer, also the world's #1 in ore reserves when it comes to copper. Lots of systematic exploration to do on our projects using geophysics, geochem, drilling. We've got a great team of people. A couple of the directors have been in Chile for quite some time, a lot of Chilean experience. We've also got an in-country manager who's a Chilean national, so he helps us out a lot with a lot of the corporate activity in Chile and a lot of the contract negotiations and things like that. We've recently announced the Fortuna project, so this is a new project that we've picked up in the coastal belt. It's only about 10 kilometres north of Lana Carina, and obviously we've got the Lana Carina project, which is the project that we've been drilling to date and had a lot of success with some pretty wide, high-grade intercepts coming back from Lana Carina. I won't sort of dwell too much into this, but Chile is the #1 copper producer, largest copper reserves, as I mentioned. A very nice place to explore for copper. All the big companies are in Chile. Lots of massive mines, lots of investment, lots of infrastructure to support those mines. That's again why we're particularly interested in the coastal belt. Given the ease of exploration and the ability to spend money in the ground. Just a snapshot of our situation at the moment. We've got a pretty low entry point for people who are interested in getting into the copper market, into projects like the ones we've got, high grade outcropping, with a lot of upside potential. We've just raised 1.2 million last week, so we've got enough money in the bank to do the next round of drilling in Chile, and we do intend to have the drill rig back there in the next couple of weeks, probably in October, November, drilling the new projects at Fortuna and also going back into Lana Carina. So just to give you a feel for Fortuna, Fortuna is located about 10 kilometres north of Lana Carina. You can see Lana Carina in the south here, 10 kilometres to the north. We've got the large Fortuna project. Fortuna is about 1,500 hectares of granted exploration tenement. We've got about 4 to 5 projects sort of along a 6 kilometre long strike extent at Fortuna. One of the more advanced projects is the Vaca Muerta project, where some of the historic channel samples have come back with some pretty reasonable grades there. 150 metres at 1.31% copper equivalent, 102 metres at 1.25, 173 at 0.86. So these are samples that were taken on the surface in the old mining areas where the artisanal miners had been working. There's been no drilling done underneath those historic intercepts. So that's the Vaca Muerta project. We've also got 3 other projects within that Fortuna area that all have outcropping copper mineralisation, all have some historic channel samples, and very little drilling done on any of those projects. So as I mentioned, we will be coming back into Fortuna pretty quickly and starting to drill at least Vaca Muerta, and we'll probably also go to Kiai as well, which we recently announced some of the results from there. So just give you a feel for Fortuna, where those historic channel samples were taken. You can see that the historic channel samples were taken in the old mine workings. The historical artisanal miners, they mainly focused on the oxide copper near surface. That's where the channel samples were taken. Interestingly, some of the historic mining did actually go down into the basement rocks or into the primary mineralisation, and there's a lot of chalcopyrite and bornite on the surface there as well. So that's given us a lot of confidence that we're going to bring the drill rig back here. We're going to drill under these old mine workings, and we're going to explore these deeper sulphide drill targets below that outcropping mineralisation at Vaca Muerta. We released last week the results of our review of El Kiai. So El Kiai is an interesting project. It's only about a kilometre to the northwest of Vaca Muerta. It's along a parallel structure. There has been a bit of historic mining done at Kiai. You can see some of the results that have come back from underground channel sampling there at Kiai. Over 6% copper in places. Some wide, reasonable grades coming from some of the surface sampling, and then some higher grades coming from the underground workings there. Again, there's a thin veneer of oxide copper on the top of this thing, and then obviously you're into the sulphide mineralisation as well. So this is another pretty much walk-up drill target at Kiai once we've completed the drilling at Vaca Muerta. Historically, they did mine some very good grades out of both shallow open cuts and also underground. There is a decline that accesses these underground workings. I've been down the decline. There's a lot of visible mineralisation in the walls of the decline, as you would expect, given the results of the sampling. Just on to Lana Carina. So Lana Carina, as I mentioned, was the project that we've had a lot of success at. It's located only 10 kilometres south of Fortuna, the new acquisition. As I mentioned, we are exploring the coastal belt. We do have a third project about 40 kilometres to the south, which is referred to as Quelon. That's more of a stratigraphically controlled Manto/IOCG target, very large land holding there. But given the outcropping mineralisation at both Lana Carina and Fortuna, this will certainly be the focus of the drilling campaign that's coming up in a couple of months' time. And just to sort of reiterate the amount of infrastructure in the coastal belt, just south of Lana Carina, there's a 75 megawatt power station. All of the roads on this map are sealed paved roads. Obviously the national highway is a little bit closer to the coast, but all of the roads, the internal roads here are sealed. So very good infrastructure, very good access to the projects, very good access to some of the bigger towns nearby where workforce is easy to find. And obviously, I think people need to, sort of note that some of the larger operations in the area, the Andacollo mine, further to the north. It's only about 100 kilometres north of Lana Carina and Fortuna. That's about 100, well, I think it's about 300 million tonne at 2% copper. That's owned by Teck. That's a fantastic deposit. It's in the coastal belt and sort of shows the potential of what you can find in this coastal belt. We believe the coastal belt is very underexplored. Obviously further inland you've got the porphyry copper belt, and you'll see some of the bigger deposits that are within that area as well. So some very large porphyries nearby. Water available both from access to water rights within the coastal belt itself, but also given the vicinity and the proximity to the ocean, desalination is also an option for us. We've also got the ports nearby as well. So back to Lana Carina. Lana Carina, we've drilled about 13 holes at Lana Carina. We've had some very nice wide intersections, 257 metres at 1.1% copper equivalent, 173 metres at 1.09% copper equivalent, and you can see some of the other numbers there. What's interesting at Lana Carina is it does outcrop, as I mentioned. At surface, the mineralisation is hosted within breccia pipes, but then below the breccia pipe, the mineralisation is hosted within an intrusive, and then below that still, you see a very high-grade molybdenum zone associated with a silica cupola. So I don't want to get too academic, but you know, this is a telescope system when geologists talk about a telescope system. So this is evolving from something that is high temperature, high pressure at depth, where you're seeing the molybdenum and the cupola. It's transitioning through a more of your porphyry style mineralisation, and then at the top of the thing you see the mineralisation hosted within the breccia pipes. If you come over to the booth, I'm at booth 6, I've got some rocks there, then I can show you some of this stuff. This is a little bit different to your normal porphyry. It's probably more magmatic in origin, and that's why you tend to see these, these better grades than your traditional porphyry. And just quickly, just showing the potential along strike. This is the background image here is of the geophysics. The red coloration is the higher magnetic response from the geophysics. The blue coloration is the lower magnetic response, and that's simply because the alteration associated with mineralisation is magnetite destructive. So you can see a very good correlation where we've had the good results coming back from the drilling, and then that larger demagnetised zone, and obviously that is a priority for us when we go back to Lana Carina to explore this. But we'd also like to explore this area over here, which we call Vista Montana, which is that's an overall strike of about 3 kilometres. So we believe there's a very good chance that we'll see similar Lana Carina style mineralisation at Vista Montana. And basically, just to cap off, if you guys are interested in a pretty low cost entry point into the copper market, with a company focused predominantly on copper, focused on Chile, focused on doing good exploration to try and move these projects into the resource category, with a great team of people operating in South America. I think probably something to have a look at. Culpeo Minerals. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Max? Max has generously offered to give us some time back. So if you do think of anything after the fact and you do want to ask Max some questions, you can catch up with him at the booth. But thanks, Max.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thanks, Chris, a lot.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.